Okay, we're live on Facebook with me, the First Lady Erica. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Uh, Here I am doing the Mo Zone with you guys because I like to share with you. Different entrepreneurs have different ideas and different tips for you. And I just love talking to new people, hearing new ideas, all the information we can get to work our way through this time and create better atmospheres for our business to increase clients and connect further even with people. I think even now though, it's even better than it was before because we're so focused on social media that we're actually reaching beyond borders. For example, today's guest, Mrs. Francine Sinclair, she is from Tampa, and I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about her. And then I'm going to stop this share screen. Here we go with Miss Francine Sinclair. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Erica?
Okay, so Francine Sinclair is a social media strategist, originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's awesome. She currently lives in Puerto Rico with her family and loves helping small business. Oh, I mean Tampa with her family. I'm stuck on Puerto Rico. Okay, so I'm so excited. Her family and loves helping small business owners generate leads and leverage their social media. When did you get here from Puerto Rico?
Oh gosh, I got here.
You up here or?
No, I grew up in Puerto Rico. I was actually born here in New Jersey. Then I lived in New Mexico. Then I moved to Puerto Rico. My mother's from Puerto Rico. So I grew up in Puerto Rico, and then I came here back in 1996, here to Atlanta. And then I moved here to Tampa about 12 years ago.
Okay, so how are you liking it out there in Tampa?
I love it, except for during hurricane season. Oh, right. Yeah, that.
We were there last weekend to go to the beach.
Oh, you were here? Yeah, you're right here in Florida. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. There's a threat out in the Atlantic, and just to think that we have the whole month of August plus September to sweat it out with these hurricanes. Plus so coronavirus.
That's like so far in the back of your brain right now. It's like so crazy outside. Yeah. So, you know, so you being, what have you done before you became a social media strategist? What were you doing before that?
So, you know, I was a stay-at-home mom for about 13 years. And yeah, I decided to pull my kids out of school and start homeschooling them. And at the same time, I started back in 2016, started an e-commerce business where I developed a product and a brand and had it manufactured overseas, imported it, and sold it on Amazon. Because I didn't have like these big budgets to do advertising like PPC on Amazon, I started using social media to promote my product, and I just fell in love with it. And so then I decided back in October 2019, I decided to start doing it for other people, like helping small business owners use their social media platforms to generate leads and grow their business. And I haven't looked back since. I mean, that I think I found something that I really enjoy. Like, I look forward to getting up. You know how when you don't like something, you like when you have a job and you know you got to get up the next morning, you're like, oh my God, I got to do this. I don't have that anymore because like, oh yeah, today I get to do this, you know, so it's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't want to name one of my past jobs that I don't like, so.
I know, right?
Oh gosh, you know. So being self-employed, what are some of the things that you enjoy about, you know, being able to control your time? Just tell us more about just being self-employed.
Yeah. Well, being self-employed really helps you be able to control, you know, being able to be more creative about the things that you do, being able to just shift your gears right away when you're in a big, large organization, because I have worked for companies before. There's all this bureaucracy that has to take place, right? When you're self-employed, you can turn on a dime. And let's say, you know, you decided that your mission statement is this today, but you wanted to change it a little bit to suit what you like more tomorrow, you can do that. And so the flexibility of it and being able to be creative and basically be the owner of your future and control your future is amazing. Of course, that comes with its downsides, of course, but I think that if you can be a small business owner and become successful at it, I think it's the best way to go. Absolutely.
I'd say I like the not having to get permission to be sick.
Yeah,
No permission to be sick. You don't need permission to go to the bathroom. I can go
right.
time.
Just go to the fridge whenever you want, go to the bathroom whenever you want. And, you got to stop and go to the supermarket between one Zoom call and the other. Guess what? You can do that. You can't do that at work. You have to think about, what am I going to tell my boss today? What lie am I going to make up about being absent?
I'm not supposed to say that, but I guess you don't have a job, so you can say that.
I don't have a job. What lie? Because even when you're telling the truth, sometimes you've already said that truth. So then you're thinking they're going to think it's a lie. So you feel compelled to make up something else just so they don't think it's a lie, even if it's the truth, So, yeah.
So, that's awesome. What are some of the tips that you say you would give to us today? Because you had some information you wanted to share about using the personal social media or actually and having a business page and so on. So I'm gonna just let you talk about it.
So okay, so when I started, and I know that a lot of people when they start, they are like, listen to this person, listen to that person, listen to all these coaches and gurus out there, and everybody's got a training and what you call it, and a challenge and a workshop. And you
not even that, but they got all these different apps, all these different applications you can use. So
it could be so overwhelming, right? And so what I found out was when you cut out all of that and just go down to like the core and the basics, you can get farther along much faster than if you try to do all this stuff, chat bots and all these big, these things you need to do later as you're more advanced. But when you're starting out, it's best to stick with the basics. So when a lot of the small business owners that I work with, they are basically starting out on social media because they're used to using it for personal reasons, or even if they've used it for business, maybe their last post was 5 months ago. I actually had a guy not too long ago whose last post was from August 2018, and so they're too busy with their business and don't have the time to deal with it and are just like, so I always tell everybody, whether they're going to work with me right away or not, if you're not, I say, this is what you got to do. First thing is, know exactly who that target audience is. Most of the people I come across already have a pretty good idea because they're established of who that ideal client is. When you know who your ideal client or clients are, then that helps you decide which platform you need to be on, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, because every platform has its own demographic. It has its own personality, right? So if you're marketing to kids, you're not going to be on Facebook. Or if you're marketing to 50-year-olds, you're not going to be on TikTok, okay, or Snapchat. So you need to decide where you're going to
say that today. I don't know. I'm like, wow.
Well, yeah, but that's not the predominant. That's just that. It depends on your business too, Yeah. And so if you're marketing makeup, what's the best place to be? Instagram, So you need to know what you're selling and who your target audience is. Decide on one platform. Try not to be on all. Even if you could be on all, try not to be on all initially. Dominate one, master one. Okay. So for example, on Facebook, just about everybody's on Facebook. So what happens with Facebook is people go right away and build a business page for their business, but they don't know that a business page, it's a good thing to have, but you're not going to have almost any reach, because business pages are basically want you to pay money. They're for ads. They're for you to pay money to reach people via ads. So you're going to be posting until the cows come home on your business page, and only between 1% and 3% of your people are going to see your post, unless you're doing ads or you're boosting. So what a lot of people are doing nowadays is using their personal profiles for business reasons. Now, before somebody tells me that that's against TOS, yes, if you're using your personal profile solely for business reasons, and then yes, that is against terms of service. But people have gotten smart. They're mixing their personal with their business. So you're talking about yourself, you went to the beach, you did this, you went to this restaurant, but by the way, this is what I do. So your business is part of your life. And so if you manage to blend those two things, then you're within terms of service. And the reason why people use their personal profile is because it has organic reach, right? It has organic reach. So I would say master, if you're on Facebook, master Facebook, use your personal profile. Also have a business page, but use your personal profile in order to bring people into your world, right? So that brings me into the second point. You got to learn how to do social selling. And social selling is more important now more than ever. Look at what just happened to us. We were all locked down during COVID. I was one to go out there and meet people in person, go to businesses, go networking. And then when COVID happened, forget it, I couldn't go anywhere. So I really had to get serious about social selling. And what social selling is, you basically meeting people in groups, you're friending people, you're commenting, you're getting them into the DMs, starting conversations, and building relationships with people that, virtually. You're building relationships. And that is the way, get to know people. Another thing that people do a lot these days are coffee chats, where you just meet people online and you have a coffee chat with them to kind of know what they do, not to sell them, but to network. And you can get referrals, you may get customers. So all that builds up. And now I've basically flipped it, where before the people I used to deal with were in person right here in my town. And now just about everybody is somewhere else. Like I've never seen them in person. They're all off social media. So learning how to do social selling effectively. And it's not just about jumping into somebody's DM and start selling them. No, you have to learn how to build that relationship, follow up, and try to get to know people for knowing people. And if they see that you're just trying to sell to them, that's just not going to work,
I saw a great example of that today. I'm going to save that for you. All right. Or you want me? I can go ahead right now.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead
and say it right now. Okay, so one of my friends, she's a superstar. She does weapons training. And so she was liking someone else's page. She liked it, but she didn't need that product. And but after she liked it, the young lady liked the page. The other lady jumped in her inbox and said, "Hey, let me help you with this." And she said, "I don't need it." So then she not only just got blocked, but the young lady wrote a whole post about it and said, "PSA, liking my post is not, I repeat, not supporting me. If you're not really a supporter, don't like my post and get the hell off my page."
Yeah.
Yep, I said it. I am sick of fake people. Y'all bored. Jeez. And I was like, what? You really wrote that?
People do that all the time. And so you have to be conscious of that. You don't do what you don't like to other people. And don't go into Facebook groups just to poach people and try. You go into Facebook groups, choose a few Facebook groups and be visible, contribute to the conversation, offer value. People start seeing you. That builds trust, And sometimes, like, I've met people months ago, and as we I comment on their posts, I've done coffee chats, and we get to know each other better. Then those people eventually turn into clients months later. But you gotta play it smooth. You don't just attack people like that. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be like if a guy saw you on Facebook and he thought you were cute, and he friended you, and then he went in your inbox and was like, "Hey, good looking." You know what I mean?
Get married, right?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think people have forgotten about the law of reciprocity, or either maybe they never learned it. But you don't jump, within 5 minutes, always looking to take without giving, or even knowing if that person is even in your audience.
Absolutely, without even knowing that that person's in your audience. You need to show genuine interest for what the person is, and what that person does. You may know somebody. I can't tell you how many times I've been in groups just scrolling, and somebody says, "Oh, I need a person who can help me do this," and I know somebody because I did a coffee chat with them, and I tagged them in there. And guess what? That builds so much goodwill.
It's organic. Yeah.
Because then they do the same thing for me, or they're already considering hiring me in the future because I've been, like being a genuine person. So people, it's hard to get a grasp of that sometimes, and you have to be patient. but I'd say that's the best way to use organic ways of marketing where you don't have to pay money. If you got the money, you want to run ads to get those clients immediately and not have to deal with all that, that's great. And as you're more advanced doing both of them, that's great. But if you're starting out, most people rely on organic ways of marketing. And that those 3 points that I gave you there, you know, determining who your ideal customer is so that you can customize your messages to that type of person, the content that you're creating to that type of person, learning how to social sell, right? And using your Facebook personal profile, which is going to give you a whole lot more reach. And when you're looking for people too, try to look for people who are in your target audience. So for me, most of my clients are Gen X and older. For some reason, that's how it turned out to be. I just, you know, those are the people who gravitated toward me. Established business owners, Gen X and older, you know. And I will know right away when I see somebody that kind of fits that description. You know, I look at their profile, see kind of what they're about, and I friend them. So remember, you only have 5,000 friends you can have on Facebook. So choose wisely. You don't have to friend everybody, right? And if you turn on your follow button on Facebook, people who you don't accept as friends or delete, they turn into followers automatically. So they're still seeing your content, even though you're not seeing theirs.
Oh.
So there is a follow option on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Say it again, though. Explain that again.
So there's a follow button on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody can just flat out follow you without being a friend, without requesting to be a friend. But also the people who try to friend you and you don't, or you delete or don't accept for whatever reason, they automatically turn into followers.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you have to activate that button on your Facebook settings. And I have a video about that. I'll tag you on it. And you can start building followers so that you don't use up all your 5,000 friends, right? And so that's for Facebook. Now, LinkedIn is a different animal. LinkedIn, most people are on there Monday through Friday. It's more buttoned up a bit. People don't share the same type of stuff over there. People are a lot more direct about you just cutting to the chase and in their inbox and offering something. They're not as uptight in that sense because people are there for business. But on LinkedIn, it's really about you really need to engage with. The way you're going to get engagement on LinkedIn is by engaging on other people's content, and that takes time. So that's why I tell you, choose a platform and dominate it.
Okay, awesome. Also, it was said too, I met someone at an actual networking, and I'm going to say actual networking event where you're just trying to meet people and get to know what they do so you can become referral partners. And it was explained to me like, hey, I'm a computer programmer. I own a programming company. Do you know how many people solicit me for strategy or for this or for finances or whatever? And he said, my inbox is always flooded. So I think that's a big thing people have to remember. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
You know, if you do Mary Kay, oh my God, you're not the only Mary Kay lady that is.
Right. That's why it's best to establish that rapport
You're
first.
not the only, you know, financial advisor. You're not the only realtor. You're not the only one. So when you have those calls or those messages, you can't just go naked.
No, because that's why it's important to have that engagement ahead of time. Engaging in their posts, commenting, because then when you do pop in on their inbox, there's already some type of relationship. So you're going to stand out more than the person who just connected with them and immediately went to their inbox.
And I think it's strange too that I think some people don't even read your page because there'll be people from the same similar service, like we're in the same business. And that was his thing. He said, how could a programmer contact a programmer and ask him if he needed help with programming? And he's like, did you even read my page? You know, so.
They don't. Sometimes they're using, I think they're using software or something. I'm not sure. I don't. I do it organically. It's the best way to build quality relationships. It gives you time to filter people as well. Not just for them to filter you, but for you to, you don't want to work with everybody. Some clients are a pain in the butt. You don't want those, you know? So you get a little idea of who's who And, you know, then at some point when you feel that it's appropriate, hey, I'd be glad to have this conversation. Hey, I was looking, in my case, hey, I was looking at your page, your social media. It looks like, you know, there are a lot of things you can do here. I'd welcome a conversation about how it is that we could work together. So, but then, you know, I've already groomed them. You see?
Yes.
I've groomed them. They've seen my videos. They've gotten to like and trust me a little bit. And so it's about that.
Did you have any more tips for that?
About video? Oh, live, of course. If you're not doing live video, there's no excuse for you. Since COVID, everybody's been doing live video. And so it is the shortest way to get people to know, like, and trust you, since especially now you can hardly see people in person. It's just, you know, that is part of your should definitely be part of your social selling strategy. And not only that, your lives, you can repurpose that content to be like text posts, clips of your videos from that same video live that you made. You can repurpose it and create more content. So repurposing is something that I love to do, because you can get content out of, you know, instead of just thinking about all this content, you take the content that you have and you repurpose it. That's awesome. You know, another thing that a lot of people don't know about, have you ever heard of Alignable?
Say it again.
Alignable.
Oh yeah, is that the teaching platform where you?
No, Alignable is actually a social media platform.
Okay, I thought it was.
And it's kind of like LinkedIn, but it's local. So all the people you're networking with are local in your community. And not a lot of people don't know about that. And I've discovered it recently, and I haven't been hanging out there much because I'm trying to just focus on one platform. But it is a great way to a network with people in your community. I mean, eventually you can meet for coffee or whatever, but I think that's a very underrated platform, Alignable.
So you didn't really like doing lives very much in the beginning, right?
No, I was terrified of them. Like, I'd go out there all day and walk into a business and literally just walk in there like cold calling, like, can I speak to whoever it is, and do that. Like, people are terrified of seeing that. And I would do it, but man, I did not want to do the lives. I would tell my clients to do them. I'd coach them to do them, and I didn't. But then when COVID happened, then I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do this. So every Monday, I made it a point. I'm going to do one at hell or high water. I'm going to do it every Monday. And I've done it for
every Monday. That's awesome.
A few months now, every Monday. And it's helped me get over that. I don't know why. It's just that thing when, not so much when I'm talking to somebody, but when I'm just talking to myself, you know, going live, talking to, I don't know what, you know, that's what really rattles people a lot, you know.
Wow.
Does it bother you?
I've seen your lives, and your personality just comes right through the screen. It's like, oh my God, I like this lady. It's infectious, and exactly, because people, you know, we always learn that people do business with people that they know, and if you give them a piece of, you know, video, now you can see the person that I am.
Right.
For me, I always, no, in the beginning, my hand would shake so hard. I had my hand literally shake like this, like I'm trying to push the button to hit record. And then by the time I'm done, I'm super satisfied and excited. And then I'm like, yay, we did it. I got to relax.
I would literally sweat, like you can see the sweat marks under my hand.
Yeah, I was sweating and nervous and stuff.
I'm like, why? It's terrible. You know, I've spoken in front of like 500 people. Why is this freaking thing making me?
I feel like my lives are just like real life, because this is me. Sometimes obnoxious, sometimes opinionated. Either people like me or they really just don't. So
right, yeah,
it's gonna be me. You know.
Yeah.
You just get to know me a lot faster. How about that?
Exactly. Repel. You know, and people need to do that. I know a lady who she just puts it all out there, all her political views, everything. She said that when this whole thing happened with all this craziness, people were attacking her on her page, all this. But guess what? She got clients that her ideal clients came forth. And she repelled all the people that she shouldn't have been working with in the first place.
I'm absolutely a believer.
I'm like, girl, you're brave.
A believer. And I think you know this because
you're brave.
Oh, Jesus. Because sometimes, I feel pretty strongly. I'm just going to go ahead and name an event. Feel pretty strongly when I see stuff about anything to do with children and sexual assault or something like that. And so if I post something about that, and if I get some flack for that, I'm coming guns a-blazing. And I swear, I tell people, like, this is my diary. This is my journal. So if you come read it and if you don't like it, I have literally told people like, hey, either follow me, unblock me, or unfollow me
or block me.
Whatever you got to do to make yourself feel comfortable. But me, this is mine. And even as much as, like you say, people are attacking her, which I have people just totally come in my inbox and try to rebuke me. Don't know why, but as much as you don't like it, trust me, there's other people that we're like-minded, and as much as you gravitate towards there's other people who are just right here with me. So, if you don't like it,
yeah, I mean, yeah, but there's just so much ugliness happening out there.
That's it. So how many personal posts per business post?
Personal posts? Well, when you're creating,
or how many business per personal?
Yeah, I would say personal, meaning like the connection for people to know you. So without the live, I'd say the live is no, it doesn't have to be personal. Live is actually about business, but personal about you. I tend to not post more than one per week, but some people do too. And even 3. Some people, they just like to do their personal stuff mostly. So I would say, personally for me, I rather not see more than one. I don't want to know that much about you so fast.
Are you saying this is on your personal page or business page?
On my business page. Like,
okay,
I'm not that open. Okay, some people are total open books. Like, they just put it all out there. I have a hard time. I always have had a hard time with that. I'm very selective, very guarded. So, maybe that's why I only do the one every other week, actually, of those. I prefer to keep my stuff more business. I'll do live. But I do realize, you need to open up a bit and let people see something about you. So I'd say 1 or 2 a week, no more than 2. And those are your personal type posts, which people's connection, where you're talking about something, about your life, your story, that type of post.
So on my end, we learned that on your personal page, there should be one business. Like, don't bombard people with a bunch of business posts on your personal page. 1 to every 4.
Oh, well, for that, you would just segment. Like, you can segment like, I have my friends and family, people who know me from before, on one list. And then I have my business people on different lists. And then I choose the posts that my friends and family see. And my business people don't see any of those posts. Like the controversial posts, none of my business people or public see that. Only my friends and family. But my business posts, my friends and family might see some of the ones that I make public. And sometimes I just make them specific to the business people and they don't see it. So that's how I control that. It gives me full control of who sees what, I don't post any of that.
Well, I guess you're thinking more like along the lines of bad news or controversial news.
Yeah, anything that has to do with politics, coronavirus, lives matter, and of this stuff going on right now. I do not put that. I do not post that public because it turns into a literal shit show. And I do not have the time, and I get so I have a short fuse. And I'm not gonna put myself out there like that, in the business world. So I just don't do it. I'll keep that with my friends and family. If they don't like my stuff, they just ignore it. I got a cousin of mine who's kind of crazy, and he confronts me, and then I go at it with her, and then he knows when to stop.
But you still make it to the barbecue. It's okay.
He still makes it to, yeah, because we're relatives. Okay, so there's some
people
context.
have a hard time understanding too that you can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And I think it's so funny because whatever it is you say or post, my name isn't Donald Trump. So wherever, if I post something that happens to be about that, you're not talking to Donald Trump. You're talking to me. So people kind of, they get so, I don't know, they're kind of so wound up. I'm a person, I like to ask questions about everything. You don't like it, I'm gonna ask you, do you believe Nick Cannon when he said this? Or you believe so? Like for me, I just, I'm living my life as a journalist. So
Yeah.
I question everything. And so don't be so offended because somebody questions everything.
Yeah.
You question everything. I just don't believe everything that is brought to me.
Yeah.
And I don't disbelieve everything because somebody says it. I might not like a particular person's views, but I will listen to it and then I'll find, do some research. So
yeah, it's about who's right, even if you don't like the person, but is that person actually right? Even if you don't like the person, but are they right? Are they saying the truth?
I'm a believer too that if you have an enemy, you should also know what they say. So if you're a Democrat, you should still find out what Republicans say. If you're a Republican, you should still be. I cruise on all kinds of groups and sites, and I'm like, what did they say? Let me see what they posted about. So
yeah,
I come off a little bit weird. So
yeah, I like to see everything. I like to look at everybody's point of view, and sometimes I'll go off the track, but people expect me to be on, and sometimes I'll be on the track, sometimes I'll be off the track. I don't just have one way. Just depends on what conclusion.
I've been like that since we were in the military and went to Germany and different places. I even would ask people, so how do you feel about America? I'm in Germany. I ask them, how do you feel about America? How do you feel about your own country? Because we should be world travelers, we can't just go with one source. I want to know what people say, so when it comes to all this, you're talking about being on social media, how much is too much time? How much is too many posts? Or
I would say, look, I do really, I only do about 3 posts per week. Like I could do more, but I don't have the need to do it, right? But too much, I would say, well, it depends on the size of your audience. If you have 100,000 followers, right, then you probably should be posting twice a day, every day. But if you don't, there's no reason to do more than 5 days a week, really. But it depends. If you're on LinkedIn, maybe you should do, some people like to do 7 days a week. I personally wouldn't do more than Monday through Friday because nobody's on LinkedIn on Saturday and Sunday, but I don't know.
You can have like 1,000 people on LinkedIn and no likes, no feedback.
Because you're not engaging. First of all, you need to make sure that the people that you're connecting with are your target audience. That's the first thing. Second of all is you need to make sure that you're dedicating time to engage with people, like their posts, comment on their posts. That's the only way you're going to get engagement.
Okay, because I see there's a barber, he's up north. His name is Mr. Andre. And I'm like, how does Mr. Andre get 1,000 likes? Like, how did he get 200?
Oh,
and I'm like,
they're pods. There's something called a pod where people go into this like little program. And if you're part of that group, when you post something, those people that are in that pod, it automatically likes all those people automatically like your post.
Ooh, see? I
On LinkedIn.
I was like, wait a minute, what is this? It's just a picture.
Somebody invited me to a pod, yeah, but I'm not using LinkedIn, so I didn't. But I plan to go back.
That sounds personal. What's with you and LinkedIn? I don't know. You got something personal with LinkedIn? You made that look on your face like. On
LinkedIn, no. On LinkedIn, don't post anything. It's just that LinkedIn is kind of like, it's just like a lot of very philosophical. People just try to be all like superficial, kind of like, buttoned up and a little bit superficial,
I noticed one thing on there though too. There's it's a magazine, but every time it's always a picture of like booty pictures, and I'm like, is this LinkedIn? Like, is this what we doing on LinkedIn. I don't know.
Good at pictures.
Yeah, it's always they're modeling outfits. It looks
Oh,
like
yeah, no, that's
the
definitely
waistline
Instagram.
is like this, and then the butt's like this.
Oh,
It's
no, no,
always
no.
like
That's definitely Instagram type of stuff or Facebook, not LinkedIn. So you got to know what you're posting. What's your business? Who's your ideal audience?
well,
And
of course,
that,
the fellas love it, so you can't really, yeah.
yeah, no. You're wasting your time if you're going to be swimsuits on.
I don't know if they buy the magazine, but I know they like the picture. So,
Plastic surgeons do well on LinkedIn, believe it or not, because they're professionals there, men and women who want some surgery. So, yeah.
So you can give us a summary and take us on out with
Yeah. So
what are your guidelines?
I'd say, social media is great. Now we're being kind of forced to do everything on it, but it's important to unplug from it because I think it affects mental health. I think so it will affect mental health. So, I think that having a schedule and sticking to that and trying to unplug from it and is important because now we are really being almost forced to just be on there all the time. And I think that's making people a little crazy lately.
I think so. I had one friend make a comment, and maybe I didn't find it was that controversial, but someone said you need to take several seats, and I said, "Whoa, okay, this person owns a, modeling agency, and this person owns," and I'm like, "We're in business. Why are you talking to people this way?"
People gone crazy. They're having an overdose of social media because they use it personal and for business. And
take several seats.
To filter who the people you want to see at the beginning of your feed, and just kind of do everything you need to do to keep I try not to look at my personal feed most days. I'm just on my business stuff all the time because as soon as I go on my personal feed and I have my friend family stuff, it kind of irritates me.
Yeah. I told my renegade friends, I was like, all right, you guys, let's just be happy. You can't help everybody. You can't talk about this. Let's talk about some positivity. Because I think before this, my focus was, let's do positive quotes. And then you're like, how can you be positive? Look what's happening. Oh my God.
No, just stick with one platform. Don't spread yourself in, and learn how to
the week of the riots. It's like how many, and I think some people have to see this too. Like how many videos can you look at of police or how many
it's stuff out there like crazy. So that's why you got to get selective. When I want to know what's happening in the world, I go to those profiles that I know have the stuff that I'm looking for, but then I cut it out. I just don't scroll through my feed. I don't, because it's too much.
I think it's a miracle this week. I think I went to bed before 1 a.m.
Oh yeah, because you're on your Facebook.
Because normally, I mean, there were times I was up like reading. It was 6, 7, 8 in the morning.
Really, reading on your phone? Girl, it's addictive though. When you get down a rabbit hole and you start finding stuff, and you keep going down that rabbit hole, and you're like, oh my God, it's crazy.
They know what they're doing because you got one video, and after that, there's like 20 videos after. Like, oh no, I was just supposed to watch this one video that this person sent me.
3 hours later.
That's like SpongeBob. 3 hours later.
Yeah, it's sucking us alive. The internet is sucking us alive.
So I had to ask some friends, like, hey, let's check on me sometime. So then we started going to the beach and doing things. So I was like, hey, man,
yeah, the beach. That sounds great because we're in Florida, so we can do that.
Yeah, get some sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Get some sunlight. So, even with work, people have to do this because your work life, you have to balance that as well. And here we are balancing work. We actually did summer school this year. So summer school
for your kids?
Mm-hmm. Oh. My son in summer school. I said, we don't know what's going to happen when school goes back. So maybe we can get something out of the way.
I don't know what's going to happen. I homeschool my kids. They've been homeschooling for the past 5 years. So nothing's going to really change here. But I feel for people who have to go to work and they have to send their kids to school because the situation is so shaky right now. We don't know if it's going to be open. If it's not, it's crazy. So.
Right. So that's a good thing too. Like, do you share pictures of your kids at all?
Hardly. If I do, it's on my personal.
Yeah.
Like I wrote a quote, I wrote a post about my son the other day about a review that he did, and I made that public, but I didn't post his picture on it.
I'm thinking
I'm
better
being
of it these days.
overprotective because they got social media.
I'm thinking better of it these days. My son is going on 14. He still does not have a Facebook. He doesn't have an Instagram. He doesn't have any of that stuff. It's enough with the chat room on the game. So that's enough.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot differently of his picture nowadays, and we have a family page. But using platforms like this, like we're on Zoom now, even our family decided to start meeting on Sundays on Zoom, to have like a family meeting, I guess.
Are they in Florida or other places?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You didn't do that before, so that's good.
Yeah, that was a good thing. I know one other thing too I did was remove them. Facebook says, "Who's your family?" Like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's take that off.
Yeah. So that they don't know you're connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have my brother as my legacy. If I die, he can access my Facebook. I don't know that he knows that. Maybe I should tell him so he knows.
You might want to send him a note.
I don't think he's going to care about what's on my Facebook.
Put a sticky note on your laptop. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my password.
Steven, this is for you. All right. People don't know I double as a comedian on the weekends. So, okay. Here we go. But this was great talking to you.
Erica, I'll see you around.
Yes, we'll be talking again very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. Mrs. Sinclair, she's saying goodbye.
All right.
Oh, well, tell people how they can find you.
Oh, yeah. Well, just find me under Francine Sinclair on Facebook or truebluesocialmedia.com. Truebluesocialmedia.com. That's my website. And my email is truebluesocialmedia@gmail.com.
All right. She's awesome. And I totally enjoyed spending time with you.
All righty.